Hey y'all, you know sometimes there's nothing better than a plate of warm chocolate chip cookies. So today I'm going to share with you my favorite chocolate chip cookie recipe, and I hope you love it as much as my family and I do. Okay guys, so for this recipe you're going to need some all-purpose flour, baking soda, salt, room temperature butter, some shortening, some granulated sugar and light brown sugar, a couple of eggs, some vanilla extract, semi-sweet chocolate chips, and a 4-ounce semi-sweet baking bar chopped up. Okay guys, so in the stand mixer, I've already got my 2/3 cup of butter, and of course it was at room temperature, so it's soft. And I just added the 2/3 cup of shortening, and we're just going to beat that on medium speed until everything's light and fluffy. So while that's mixing up, I'm going to get my baking bar chopped up. This one is a semi-sweet 4-ounce baking bar. You can use milk chocolate, you can use dark chocolate. My family and I just really like the semi-sweet, so that's what I've always used. And I like having the baking bar in there along with the chocolate chips, because the chocolate chips are all the same size. So the baking bar, you get big pieces and small pieces, and it just kind of gives you a variation in chocolate, and you get big puddles and little puddles, and it just makes it yummy. Okay, so now I'm going to add my granulated sugar. We're going to get that put in just really slow so it doesn't make a cloud. And let that mix in for just a minute. Then I'm actually going to lower the bowl down and put the brown sugar in. I just find it easier to do it that way. Sometimes the brown sugar kind of sticks together, so I just lower the bowl and put the brown sugar all in at once and then turn the mixer back on. We'll let that go for just a second until everything's light and fluffy. So while that's mixing up, I'm going to put my 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract in this little bowl with my eggs so that we can add those in next. So now that all that's mixed together, we're going to just take this spatula and just go around the sides of the bowl. Just want to kind of scrape everything down to the middle again, just to make sure that there's no clumps of brown sugar or white sugar, and just to make sure that everything's incorporated the way it should be. So now that everything's scraped down and back in the middle where it should be, we'll just turn the mixer on just for a few seconds to kind of get everything going again. And now we're going to put in our 2 eggs and our 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and we're just going to beat that until everything's light and fluffy. Okay, so now we're going to add our flour mixture. This is the all-purpose flour, the baking soda, and the salt. You really just want to take your time with this step and just do a little at a time until you see that it's getting mixed in before you add your next little spoonful. If you try to go too fast and dump it in, you're going to have flour everywhere. Trust me, I have done that, and it is a huge mess to clean up. So just take your time until you get it all mixed in. So now that everything's all mixed up, we're going to remove the paddle and remove the bowl. And with our spatula, we're going to make sure that we scrape off all that dough, everything that you can, and get it down in that bowl. We don't want to waste any of it. And so now I'm just going to take a couple of turns around the bowl just to make sure that there's no clumps of flour in there, and just to make sure everything's mixed. And I'm actually going to switch to a wooden spoon for this next part, just because it's easier for me to mix it in. So we're going to add in our couple of cups of chocolate chips, and we're going to add in our chopped up chocolate bar, and get everything all mixed together. And now you're just going to take your wooden spoon and just fold in all that yummy chocolate. Y'all, that is a lot of chocolate. Trust me, it's going to be delicious. Y'all, look at this. It looks so good already. So it is going to take a little bit of elbow grease to get all this chocolate mixed in. You just keep working at it. It's going to be so worth it. So now that everything's all mixed together, I'm going to get my cookie sheet that I've already lined with parchment paper. And I'm also going to get my medium cookie scoop. I think this is about 2 tablespoons or so. I'm not exactly sure. I've got 3 sizes, so I just use the medium one. And then you're just going to kind of level it out, and you're just going to scoop them out onto the cookie sheet. You're going to leave them roughly 2 inches apart. I usually can get about 8 cookies on a sheet. So now that we've got all 8 cookies on our sheet, I'm going to take some of the reserve chocolate chips, and I'm just going to put 3 or 4 on the top. I think this just makes a prettier cookie. You don't have to do this if you don't want to take the time to do it. They'll still be delicious. I just like the look of it when they come out of the oven with the chocolate chips that you can actually see on the top. So now that we've got them all pretty, we're going to put them in the oven. Remember, it's preheated to 350. Put them in for 12 to 14 minutes until they're golden brown around the edges and the centers are just set. So while those cookies are baking, I've got my other cookie sheet with the parchment paper on it, and I'm just going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to scoop out all 8 of my cookies and then put the chocolate chips on the top to make them pretty. So I'm just doing these the same way. I'm just taking the 3 or 4 chocolate chips on the top. You don't have to do the chocolate chips like I said earlier, but you can substitute. You could put nuts on the top if you wanted to. You could put sprinkles on the top if you wanted to. My family just likes the chocolate, and so do I. Okay, y'all, so it's been 13 minutes, so these are coming out of the oven. Y'all, look how pretty they are, and oh my goodness, do these things smell so, so good. Y'all, I'm sorry, my kids are playing a video game in the background, and I am so sorry for the noise, but look how pretty these things are. And this is why I put the chocolate chips on the top, is so that every cookie has chocolate on top. So these have been cooling on the cookie sheet for 4 to 5 minutes. So we're going to move everything over to the cooling rack and let them cool completely before we put them on a plate and get to enjoy one. Y'all, here's my recipe. Feel free to screenshot it, share it with your friends. Thanks for watching Southern Fried with Mel. Make sure you like and subscribe. I love y'all.